All right, welcome everyone. Many blessings. Today is Tuesday. It is February 27th. The year is 2024. This is the School of Orisha Studies. I am Oloye Obafemi Origunwa, the Alatunse Onifa of Okeona, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria, West Africa. Ooh, it's like saying Mufasa. I love it. I'm in the house and I'm doing what I love to do more than anything else, which is participate in the wisdom and the compassion of Ifa. This is the best thing since fried chicken, and I love fried chicken. So Ifa is really, really spectacular. Fried chicken doesn't even compare. If Ifa said don't eat fried chicken, I wouldn't be eating fried chicken. That's how much I love Ifa. So I am super delighted to be here with you all this evening, and we are going to take our first exploration of the Holy Odu OkanranOgunda. And so I'm looking forward to a rich and lively conversation with each and every one of you this evening. I hope that you're well. I pray that your children and your spouses and your parents and your siblings are all well, and that your mind is in a position to really dive into the insights and the directives that this particular Odu has for us right here, right now. As you know, this is our first Odu study group in a while, a month, maybe more than a month, since before we went over to Africa for our the coronation and the Itefa ceremonies, and we came back swinging, right? So congratulations to everyone. Awolowo, who was initiated to Ifa, Dosumu, who was also initiated to Ifa. Congratulations. Job well done. You really strived and studied and put forth your best effort to be prepared and go over to culminate your studies and your practice. And so I am increasingly and continuously proud of your progress and your growth, and I'm thankful to have been a supporter of your journey up to this point. Likewise, congratulations to our good sisters, Makonjuola and Adunola, who just completed their Ileori ceremonies this weekend. And it was a beautiful, beautiful experience and lots of fun. And likewise, I'm supremely proud of you, and I know just a little bit about your journey and how you got here. And it's an interesting juxtaposition against, right, Awolowo and Dosumu, who both of whom are brand new to the tradition, and have done their Itefa together. And even though they're not Ejika, they're Ejika because they did their hand of Ifa together too. A couple of years ago, it just worked out that the two of them came and did their hand of Ifa together, and then, as fate would have it, they went to Africa together to do their Itefa initiation. Likewise, Makonjuola and Adunola are not Ejika, but you have been traveling together in tandem, doing your, on your spiritual journey before you even came to the school, and now even in the school. So it's a very, coincidence perhaps, or just evidence of how Egbe works and how the road of fate unfolds in ways that we can't predict, we can't mandate, but when we're open and we're willing to take the journey, it will continue to reveal to us that these are things that are happening according to a divine pattern, and they're not accidental. And if we just pay attention to the fact that these things are transpiring this way, we can just appreciate that there is a higher power and there's a higher intelligence. And so congratulations to all four of you in doing what you're doing. This is so significant because the pride of the School of Orisha Studies is It's training before initiation. So at every stage, anyone who receives a shrine or even yes, everyone who receives a shrine demonstrates knowledge, and everyone who demonstrates knowledge also is demonstrating um, a capability, because you have to chant those verses, you got to recite those oriki, you got to know that calendar, right, and you got to be able to deliver that litany, right. So there's a showing and proving that more than anything else, it cultivates within you as the practitioner a certainty that you can, and that for me is so important in the learning process. We call it perceived self-efficacy. You got to have perceived self-efficacy to be to have courage and confidence, and the knowledge that I have what it takes to go from point A to point B. And that for me is the most important part of what this tradition is all about, because of Ori. That is that Ori as a spiritual and philosophical principle is one of the things that distinguishes this tradition from all others. This concept of Ori, that people will call your destiny, but it's your identity. Your Ori is your identity, and it's your identity that predates this body. It's your identity that predates this head, that predates these features. It's the you before you were you that everybody knows. And that the you that we see right here, right now, is here by choice. See, destiny is something that you chose in the prenatal state. And that's the thing that it makes our tradition so strong. We know that you are the chooser. Ori is the chooser. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your words. You are not your habits. You are the one who chooses your thoughts. You are the one who chooses your emotions. You are the one who chooses your behavior. You choose your habits. You choose your destiny, right? So your ability to continue to choose is what activates your superpower. So choosing to do things that reinforce your spiritual identity, choosing to do things that will reveal your natural gifts and talents is what I want to see you do more than anything else. I want to see you choose, and I want to see you um, gain more skill at choosing those things that you can be highly confident are going to send you into the direction that you really want to go, and like I said, are in alignment with your prenatal choice. So congratulations, and welcome again to the School of Orisha Studies. Let us begin our Odu study group this evening the way that we ought to, with invocation and prayer. And we can go into our deeper understanding of what exactly OkanranOgunda has for us today. Is our good brother Tordiola here? I think I saw Tordiola join us. Yeah, he's here.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Ekaleo.
Ekale. Aburo Boye.
Boye, Aboshisho.
All right, cool. So let me get us going. Iba Olodumare Obatere Kaye. Iba Ati Ojo. Iba Ati Wo. Iba Ile Okoyeri. Bari Kara. Iba Urumile Ojo Kotun. Iba Urumile Ojo Kosi. Iba Okanle Ni Irimo Urumile. Iba Orumila Eleri Ikpin. Iba Koda. Iba Sheda. Iba Arabalo Tuife. Iba Erogilo de Awo. Iba Kwekwe de Asin. Iba Aganga Wode Bada. Iba Shokpe Wuta Wode Remo. Iba Wuwe La Wode Jebu. Iba Takomose Wode Jesha. Iba Shegba Awo Egba. Iba Kereke Woyo. Iba Roki Awo Oshogbo. Iba Gedegba Awo Dahomi. Iba Gbogbo Awo Pata Pata. Ifaba wa ṣe kí Olódùmarè kó bá wa ṣe. Iba Egungun ilé wa. Iba Ori Baba. Iba Ori Yeye. Iba Ori Olúwo Ọbáfẹ́mi Orígun wa. Iba Ojúgbọ̀nà. Iba Ori Inú. Iba Ori Ode.
Sure.
Sure. We give we pay homage to Olodumare for the creation and as the progenitor of all things.
Sure.
We give gratitude for our lives and all the blessings that we receive. We pay homage to Olumila Agbamiregun for the patient guidance and being the intermediary of our fate. We give gratitude for our Ori for staying with us and accompanying us through all that we go through. We pay homage to our ancestors for everything that they've went through to bring us to this point, and just the spirit within to bring us back to our traditions despite everything that's pushing us away from it. We pay homage to everything that's brought us to this point to still be here. We give homage to our mother and father's Ori and the ancestors. And we pay homage for our Oluo for putting this together and everything he's done to distill this information to help us learn it. We ask that we're able to learn the lessons of what's the current Odu?
OkanranOgunda.
OkanranOgunda. And then may we be able to be productive and see the benefits in our actual lives and the real things that we need to do for us and for our families. We ask that the lessons we're able to learn today help us to bring about liberation for Black people all over the world. And we ask that we are blessed with the focus to make it through this session. We are here to offer our efforts, our studies, and us to keep the observances. And we promise to improve the lives of ourselves and those we're destined to serve, and help to bring about the good condition here on earth. Ashe.
Ashe Modukwe. We give thanks and praise. Today belongs to Shango and to Oya. Kabiyesi Olukoso, Ahayana. We give thanks to you, Oya Oriri, Ayaba Shango. We thank you for all of your support, for your courage, for your strength, for the empowerment that you provide for us. We acknowledge the strength and the victories that Shango and Oya orchestrate for us. We acknowledge and celebrate the way in which Shango and Oya work together to create a dynamic partnership that reveal to us the ways in which we can work together with our reciprocal energy to identify targets, to clear the path to targets, and to strike those targets with precision, and to do so with conviction, to do so with force, but to do so with purpose and according to a greater mission. And so we give thanks and praise to Oya and Shango for showing us the way to work together, to partner with one another, and be guided by the wisdom of Ifa to accomplish great things. May we continue to learn from their example and to overcome all limitations. Hashem Odupe. So today, we are going to dive into the Holy Odu OkanranOgunda. And so as is customary, but it has been a while, we're going to, just make sure we're all on the same page. And to just back up a little tiny bit before I dive into it, the mechanics, this is part of the Itadogun. The Itadogun is a 16-day divination cycle. In the Yoruba land, and I need to go pull out my old notebook. Societies have their base number systems, right? So in the West, we have a base 10. So, like decimals, everything is 10. And Yoruba land is base 16. That's the basis for things. I forget, the Mayans had something extraordinary. Theirs is big. It's like base 24 or something, But I tell that to say that the 16-day cycle for the Itadogun is how we conduct our divination. But all of the deities conduct their divination on a 16-day cycle. So Shango, Obatala, you name it, Olokun, all of them are going to conduct their divination every 16 days. So they're going to check in with their orishas every 16 days. Also, the markets run on a 16-day cycle. So the merchants, some of the merchants, not all of the merchants, will wander from town to town, right? Every 4 days. So let you know, because you're walking, they're walking, right? So you're only going to go so far. So they're going to move in a circuit. And about every 4 days, you're going to go to a different market. You're going to sell your beads. After that market ends, you're going to walk for another 4 days. You go to the next market. You're going to sell your cloth. You're going to sell your cola nuts, etc. Right? So the 16-day cycle is what governs the rotation of goods and services, knowledge, information. All of that travels in a 16-day cycle. So if you imagine all throughout Yoruba land, and Yoruba land is vast. We're talking about today. I don't know in footage. I'd have to go look up in some of the books, but it's enough space to accommodate what is today 40 million people. Okay, 40 million people. So you can imagine every kingdom has this kind of a constellation of an economy that's rotating like the planets, right? You know, the planets are moving, they're orbiting. The societies are moving like that every 16 days. All this movement. This is significant because it's a pattern that repeats. Like I said, now we're looking at 40 million people, and we're talking about in the most original sense, you got 16 kingdoms. Okay, 16 distinct kingdoms spread out over a vast territory, all adhering to this economic, political, intellectual pattern of movement. Okay, so this is what makes the Yoruba communities distinct. Each of them is unique. They're all autonomous, but similar. Okay, it's the pattern and the structure that makes them similar and shapes a similar kind of a worldview. And in this worldview, you get a group of people who are rural. All Yorubas are farmers, traditionally, not anymore, but traditionally, all Yorubas are farmers. Everybody has a farm. Okay, and in old age, everybody retires to their farm. This is how the culture is structured. And everyone has a city house. Okay, so everybody brings things from the farm into the city. People live at the farm, and then they will come to the city to do certain things. When you're going to do your initiation, you come to the city. When you're going to get married, you come to the city. When certain festivals are happening, you're going to come to the city, right? But people spend the majority of their time on the farm. Okay, so Yoruba civilization is both urban and rural at the same time. So for a Yoruba person to be comfortable in the country and farming and taking care of animals and making their own food and their own clothing, etc., is common. But then for them also to be able to move within a city and have a vast administrative political system is also common, right? And so Ifa represents the knowledge base, the wisdom base, the intellectual aptitude of the people, because the Babalawo are the ones who would migrate from kingdom to kingdom more than any other of the Orisha priests. Because the other Orisha priests are tied to trades, Shango people, Ogun people, Obatala people, etc., they're all tied to trades: bead making, weaving, carving, sculpting, clay, weaving, tailoring, etc. All those are Orisha. Oromila is the lazy one. Oromila is recognized as the lazy or a lazy Orisha because Oromila doesn't have a trade. All Oromila does is knowledge. He sits and talk, sit and talk, sit and talk, make Ebo. That's what Oromila does. But he travels in that capacity. The Babalawo is itinerant. So they are the travelers, and they tend to travel vastly, at least in a region, but maybe over multiple regions in Yoruba land in the search for knowledge, right? That's what the quest is all about. They're not going to trade to buy and sell. They're going from city to city to talk to other babalawos, to learn different medicines, to learn more verses. So when we talk about studying the Odu, according to the Itadogun, this is a part of a a knowledge system that has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years. This is essential for you to understand as it pertains to restoring the African mind. This is essential. All the different African ethnic groups have something, but the Yoruba civilization has something particular to offer you as the urban African, because it is a knowledge system that is complex enough to accommodate all of the wild and freaky things that you have encountered in New Orleans, Houston, LA, Chicago, Brooklyn, etc. There's a reason why Ifa can speak to your condition. There's a reason why you respond to what Ifa says, because this has been cultivated and distilled in an urban environment where there's lots and lots of people on top of each other. They're settling all kinds of disputes. This is not people who've been living out in the country in isolation. You understand what I'm saying? Religion organizes spiritual experience, right? Religion organizes spiritual experience, but the way it's organized has to meet and make sense with your psychology. If your psychology is more complex than your religion, right? There's a reason why shamanism won't work for you. In other words, you might like shamanism, but you can't practice it. You might call yourself a shaman, but you can't practice shamanism. Because to be a shaman, you got to go out in the woods naked and just live in the woods. That's a shaman. You got to go on a vision quest constantly. That's what you do as a shaman. That's how they live. You're not going to do that because you want to sleep under a roof. Basic. You want to be able to go to the refrigerator and get a glass of orange juice. That's not what shamans do. Shamans go and chop a little leaf, and you know what I'm saying? That's how you get it as a shaman. That's shamanism. Shaman go out in the desert and wander and just be out there, you know what I'm saying? Taking peyote and seeing stuff in the stars. It's a system that it works and it's beautiful, but it's too simple for your lifestyle. Your psychology is too complicated, right? So it's important. This system, all this just coming out of us dealing with the 16-day cycle, the Ita Dogun, I'm trying to help you understand the structure of this religion and why it works for you. Okay? Why it works for you. Why it speaks to your condition. Why your ancestors have activated this at this time. Because what do they say? That our ancestors return in 16 generation cycles. So if you go back 16 generations, you can estimate where were you, right? 16 generations ago, all of us were in Africa, right? 16 generations ago, all of us were in Africa. So now, as the 16 generations are coming to, you know what I mean, into this cycle is coming into fruition, our ancestors are coming back. Our ancestors are what they cultivated is coming back. So yes, it makes sense to you because it's coded into your DNA. I want to say something like 62% of African Americans are predominantly of Yoruba descent. You guys have to go look it up. I think it's like 62% though. The high number. It's a high number. And it's not just us. Trinidad, Jamaica, Ecuador, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all super high Yoruba population. So this is my quiz, and I'm going to dive into the lesson, but I want to give you perspective. There's a reason why we're doing this the way. There's a reason why we're doing it this way. There's a reason. Most populous African country in the world is Nigeria. Okay? most populous African country in the world is Nigeria. Second most populous African country in the world is Brazil. Third most populous African country in the world is the United States of America. You are the third largest African population in a single country in the world. And in all of those countries, Nigeria, Brazil, and the United States, what is the predominant ethnic group? Yoruba. So we represent a global cultural empire waiting to be networked, connected, and put onto a single frequency and given a single goal. What is our single goal? We've been waiting all this time for us to understand what is our single goal? What is our single mission? Because yeah, you got all these kingdoms, you got all these Orisha, you got all these Odu. But what is everybody doing? It doesn't matter if you Cuban, if you Brazilian, if you Shango, if you Oya, if you are Oromila. It doesn't matter which one you serve. What is the single mission of all of our people? To help bring about the good condition. All of us are Eniyan. According to what Ifa says, all of us, those in Brazil, those in Cuba, those who worship Shango, those who worship Obatala, those who worship Olokun, all human beings, Eniyan. Eniyan, one who is chosen by Olodumare to help bring about the good condition. That's our singular purpose and goal. So being able to lock in on that single goal requires a single psychology. This is what Marcus Garvey was talking about. One God, one aim, one destiny. Now, in Garvey's day, the only way you could articulate that was in terms of Western social, political, and religious constructs. Garvey did it though. Garvey did a bang up job, but the only tools he had were white man tools. He had to speak English. He had to talk about Christianity. He had to articulate it as God. He couldn't say God in an African language. He couldn't say one aim in an African language. He couldn't say one destiny in an African language. But today you can. Today we can say Olodumare. We can say one aim to bring about the good condition. We can say one destiny, one Ori, because when my Ori elevates, it will touch your Ori. It will reach out to touch 200. Do y'all understand what's happening? When your Ori is elevated, it will reach out to touch my Ori. It will touch 200. Do the math. If all of our Ori elevates, if we all work on elevating our Ori, if we all work on mastering our psychology, mastering ourselves, mastering our self-understanding, really practicing self-discovery, really practicing self-acceptance, really understanding what is your identity, because your identity is your destiny. If you really understand that, you will elevate your Ori, and your Ori will reach out and elevate another. It will reach out and elevate 200. If that's what we're all doing, then we have each one teach one. And it's only going to be a matter of time before we're all operating toward that single goal, which is helping to bring about the good condition. So Ifa is the Yoruba gift to the African world. But we have to think of Ifa in terms of what it is really doing for us. It's not just helping you get a flat screen, okay? Ifa is not just going to help you to get that fool. I'm going to get him. This is it. I'm going to get my thing and I'm going to throw it up. Suck a die. That's what they be telling y'all. They be telling my people that this Ifa is about you getting revenge on your ex. Have mercy. Big Mama and them is out there toiling just to keep that root in their pocket, just to keep a little tiny touch of the consciousness alive. And we didn't kept it alive and got the people thinking that all you supposed to do is get enough power to get your ex. Her mercy, 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 mercy. Woo! All I'm trying to do is get more God children than you. I got more God children than you, though. Mercy, 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 mercy. Help us. That ain't what it's all about. That's not why my grandmama was hiding in the woods. That's not why my grandfather was a two-headed man going and telling a white man he gonna pay that brother his money. That's not why they called him Mr. Williams when they called everybody else boy. That's not why. That's not why he showed himself to me in a dream to say you gonna be the one so that you could get the iPhone 15. That's not what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to save the world, period. End of story. If you ain't doing that, you need to reevaluate your position. Your purpose is here to help, to be here to help bring about the good condition. We are here to save the world, and we have the capacity to do it, but we got to put our mind to it and make up our mind that that's what it's all about. Nothing else. Hey, if you get a Benz along the way, magnificent. If you get a flat screen along the way, fantastic, rock it. If you happen to be dressing in silks and have diamonds on every finger in the process of helping to bring about the good condition, wonderful. I'm not trying to tell you to shun the world. That's not my goal. But I'm telling you that the goal, however, those are byproducts. If you get to see through walls in the process of bringing about the good condition, fantastic. If you get to leap tall buildings in a single bound in the process of bringing about the good condition, that's what they needed you to have. But that is a byproduct. And more times than not, it's a distraction. All that stuff that they peddling to you as the goal is just distraction. It's a fool's game. The stuff is distractions. The superpowers are distractions. Okay? You are here to save the world. And Ifa can help you do that. But it starts with saving your mind, saving yourself. So OkanranOgunda gives us some fantastic insights exactly into that process. OkanranOgunda is the Odu that manifests for us. It is the deity that had descended into our realm just for us based on the prayers. And I'll tell you, I'm biased. To some of y'all, this might be your first round. You might be like, I don't like the way the Babalawo prays. I'm leaving. I didn't ask for a mission. I just want a new Jag. He's asking to give me a mission. I ask about the mission. When I sit with Ifa, I ask about the mission. Ifa, how do I guide the people towards fulfilling our mission? What is it that people need to know to reclaim their original consciousness? Which direction do you need us to go in, Ifa, to do your will? Okay, so based on those prayers, Ifa says OkanranOgunda is the Odu. Now we need to know, is OkanranOgunda coming with a favorable energy or is it coming with an unfavorable energy? Ifa says it's favorable. It's Ire. That's the orientation of the Odu. The manifestation of the Odu, is spouse. Yes, compatible spouse. No? Is it or is it children? What is our manifestation? It's children, right? Children. Ifa says that OkanranOgunda is coming with the manifestation of children. For those who are looking for children, this is the time for you to do it. Everybody out there who wants a baby, this is the time to be working on it. Take your CMOS and whatever else y'all be doing to make sure it happens, because this is the season, right? And for those of you who have children, Ifa is affirming that your blessing will come through your children. Okay. There are some schools of thought that would also incorporate supporters, godchildren, things like that, dependents, any arrangement or relationship whereby you provide leadership, parentage, etc. for people can constitute children. Okay. But that's the manifestation. All right. It's children. In the strictest sense of a word, it's having children and your children being a conduit to your blessing, or your children being blessed by what you do. Okay. Ifa says that we should perform akwese. We should perform akwese. Akwese is, as we heard in our bulletin today, akwese is an offering that is consumed with the mouth. Akwese recognizes and acknowledges that your way forward or backward is going to be influenced and perhaps even determined by people. So Akwese goes to Egbe. Akwese goes to Awanyami Agba, Awanyami Oshoronga. Akwese goes to people. You feed the mouths of people, right? It can go any one of those ways. If I can say Akwese and you just have a feast, you just invite people and you feed them. Awanyami, what you could take it offerings. In this case, there's two waves or two layers of the offerings. We're feeding Awanyami by day, and then we're also feeding Awanyami by night for OkanranOgunda. And then what did I say? Egbe, Awanyami, and the mouths of people. But Egbe, if y'all have read the fundamentals, have y'all read the fundamentals of Orisha Lifestyle? My book, The Fundamentals. So you know what I'm finna say about Egbe, right? I'm finna put somebody on the spot. Say, I read the book, but I don't know what you're gonna say about Egbe. This is my big thing about Egbe. We love the spiritual Egbe because it's spiritual. The children whose eyes sparkle in the night, in Borokini of heaven. And I love Egbe. Egbe is beautiful. But Egbe there is as much significance to earthly Egbe as there is heavenly Egbe. Egbe is the basis for social structure, order, education, training. Egbe is like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Okay, Egbe is like, and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. That's little, civic training, where you learn to be a good citizen, where you learn to take care of your environment, right? Leave no trace. Scouts honor, right? You learn to be a good girl. You learn to be a good boy. You learn to be conscientious and responsible about yourself and your environment. That's what the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are about. Now, truth of the matter is, Baden-Powell, who's given credit for creating the Boy Scouts, learned about the Boy Scouts in South Africa. It's really based on the Zulu Scouts. Okay, so I like the Boy Scouts for that. But the Boy Scouts are based on the Zulu Scouts. And they switched, they kept the mythological dimension of it alive. I don't know who the Zulu god was that they were praying for, but if you guys go and you look at the Boy Scouts, it's all about this Indian spirit, Akila, something like that. But they saw the significance, or he, saw the significance of having that spiritual component. So he switched it over to a Native American because it took place here in America. But it is based on an African concept. So the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts is like Egbe. Egbe is age grade training. All girls between 0 and 4 in this community are one Egbe. Girls from 5 to 8 is another Egbe. 9 to 12 is another Egbe, right? Every 4 years you have an Egbe. Boys, and those children grow up together. They all have the same outfits. They go to each other's birthday parties. They go through their rites of passage together. They learn to do different things together. That's Egbe. Very, very important, because your Egbe is where you learn to work together. Your Egbe is where you learn to struggle together. Your Egbe is where you learn to build together. So we are an Egbe, right? We chose to be born together at the same time. That's the idea. These children were all born at the same time. They chose to come together because they were together in the heavenly realm. So we give Egbe, Akwese, We feed their mouths because we recognize that while we are feeding the mouths of our egbe on earth, we are also nourishing our heavenly egbe. So Akwese feeds the mouths of egbe on earth. Also, it can be used to strictly feed the mouths of the when you give an offering to the egbe shrine. Awan Yami is the same thing. We look at Iyami as people. These are people. The women in your community, the women in your town, the women in your family. So you can feed the mouths of the people, and you are appeasing Awan Yami just the same. That is Akwese. It acknowledges that it's in the mouth. So in OkanranOgunda, Ifa says that we need to feed the mouths. The basic understanding being that a person cannot eat your food and then turn around and curse you. So you consecrate your food. Your food is a blessing. Your food is a protection. Your food is a pact. When the people eat your food, it's a pact. You need to understand it as such, that y'all are entering into an agreement. All right. That says that because I'm nourishing you, there are certain things that you're obliged to do and not do in relationship to me, and certain things that I'm obliged to do, right? Because I'm not poisoning you. So that I'm keeping up my end of the deal by feeding you, and I'm not poisoning you, right? You're going to keep your end of the deal by eating my food and not, being hostile toward me, not mistreating me, not, whatever. So that's the importance of Akwese, some of the importance of Akwese anyway. Ifa says for OkanranOgunda, we need to give Akwese to Awan Yami Oshoronga. And let's look at what OkanranOgunda says. That's the framework. That's the outline, right? The body of what we're dealing with. Now we look into the Itan, the story that will explain why Ifa or the significance of what Ifa is saying to us in OkanranOgunda. OkanranOgunda says, I'm going to the summary here. Ifa says that you are at the beginning of something truly important. Ifa says that you are embarking upon a journey, a task, or a project that may have been tried before, that many have tried before, but none have succeeded. Ifa says that this might be a mission that was started by your lineage. It might be something that was involved the entire community. Ifa says that you must sacrifice for success. In addition, Ifa advises you to be hospitable to a guest. Ifa says that you should make it your practice to accommodate an important person and be patient. This person has something valuable to offer you, but if you are not patient, you will miss it. Ifa says that it is a lack of patience that has caused all previous attempts to fail. Okay, so OkanranOgunda is setting the stage for something unprecedented, something that people have sought out, something that people have had their focus on, something that people have reached for, but they haven't been able to accomplish it. And the main reason why they have not accomplished it has not been because of lack of money. It hasn't been because of lack of skill. It hasn't been because of a lack of resources. It hasn't been because of a lack of courage. It hasn't been because of a lack of talent. It has been because of a lack of patience and hospitality, not knowing how to receive someone and treat them well, right? And then at the same time, be patient in the face of what might appear to be scarcity. And this is very significant in our economy, because if we look at, we're going back to the psychology and the psychology of your religion, the psychology of your civilization, and how the psychology of your civilization shapes your thinking and informs your values. We live in a capitalist economy, and in our capitalist economy, it is based entirely upon the idea of false scarcity. that somehow there isn't enough everything. Here we are in the richest country in the world with the most of everything. There's no place anywhere you're going to go in the world and you're going to find supermarkets with 20 different kinds of jelly, 10 different types of bread, 20 different kinds of deodorant. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The supermarket here is over the top. There's no other place in the world that is more abundant than the United States of America. But we are running around all tight because we're living with this idea of false scarcity. There's just not enough. I gotta be clamoring. I gotta be fighting. I gotta be coveting. I gotta be guarding. There's just not enough. And it translates to everything. There's not enough time. There's not enough money. There's not enough love. There's not enough attention. There's not enough of anything. We're always, even though we're overflowing with things. This is something biblical, but it's coming, I know it from Bob Marley. In the abundance of water, the fool remains thirsty. Rat race. Perfect. That's exactly what it's about. Rat race. If y'all don't know the song by Bob Marley, put that on your playlist. Make that your assignment for tonight. Rat race. Rat race. Okay. Rat race is what will a perfect framework for how this particular verse starts off and what Ifa is advising you about being patient because you have been bred in the rat race. Okay. So the verse runs this way. A chain falls down and makes a sound. Worojo. Worojo is just onomatopoeia. It's just emulating the sound of a chain hitting the ground. This was the one who divined for Oromila and the 400 Irumole. The Irumole are the Orisha. These are the primordial Orisha, though. These are the Orisha whose names people have forgotten. These are elements, principal elements, that most of whom nobody knows anymore. When Olodumare assembled all of his wealth in one place, he sent for all the Irumole so that they could carry his wealth to earth. Okay? They were asked to make sacrifice because Olodumare wanted to send them on an errand. The sacrifice was a big lump of pounded yam, a pot full of soup, many kola nuts, sheep, a pigeon, a fowl, 3,200 calories. They should entertain visitors out of the food used for the sacrifice. Only Oromila made the sacrifice. So you see, they should entertain visitors out of the food items for the sacrifice. That entertaining people with the food, that is Akwese. That is Akwese. So there, Ifa has already given us a beautiful framework that the bounty of heaven is on its way to the earth. And you should sacrifice with foodstuffs. And you should be preparing yourself to entertain visitors with those foods. Okay? So what happened? Everyone was told to make the sacrifice. Only Oromila made the sacrifice, which meant that only Oromila was equipped to entertain the visitor. Right? So right there, we get an idea. When we make sacrifice, we eat the sacrifice, y'all. When we make sacrifice, we eat the sacrifice. That's just the standard. The only time you don't eat the sacrifice is if Ifa says, don't eat the sacrifice. Okay, so as a rule, we eat the sacrifice. So Oromila is the Orisha who only knows sacrifice. Oromila, that is how we know Oromila. Oromila is feeble and weak. He doesn't have powers. He only knows sacrifice. And this story reinforces the significance of sacrifice. This is why we say magic and powers are for special days, but sacrifice is for every day. Because sacrifice is feeding people every single day. Okay? When we think about saving the world and we think about restoring the African mind and we think about being able to circumvent all the ways in which the white man makes trouble for us, it's pretty basic. You know what the white man is doing? The white man is providing food, clothes, and shelter for us. The white man is providing jobs for us. The white man is providing clinics and hospitals for us. The white man is paving roads for us. The white man is solving our problems. And we didn't gotten so used to it, we just say, it's okay. It's all right. My white daddy can take care of me forever. Woo, we should be ashamed of ourselves. But that's what it is. My white daddy can solve all my problems. If it ain't working, I just call my white daddy. He'll fix it. That's the problem, though. Sacrifice enables us to provide sustenance for our people. We need to be thinking in practical terms about what Orisha lifestyle is. If you make sacrifice, you feed people. That is a metaphor for providing. If you are a Babalawo, you are a provider. If you are an Orisha devotee, you are a provider. And here we see why. Olodumare gathers all of the divinities. He says, I'm going to gather all of my wealth, all of the wealth of heaven. I want to send it to the world. And you are going to be the ones who will carry it there for me. Prepare yourselves to travel. All the deities are getting ready to travel. One by one, Olodumare sent his divine messenger to the house of each of the divinities to announce, hey, this is the travel date. Hey, this is the travel date. This is get ready. Everybody, you're going to meet at Olodumare's palace on this day, right? So he's going. Each time the divine messenger went to the houses of the Orisha, they just heard the message and they sent him on his way. Except for Orunmila. When the divine messenger got to the house of Orunmila, Orunmila received him with drinks, with refreshment, with food, had him sit down, showed the divine messenger hospitality and care. As a result, the divine messenger said, Orunmila, listen, when Olodumare calls you to the palace, you need to know something. He's going to give out all this treasure. Orunmila, don't take any of the treasure that you see heaped up in front of Olodumare's throne. You let all the other divinities take those treasures and you wait until everyone else has gone. Then you are going to approach Olodumare and you're going to tell him that the only thing you want is the thing that he has underneath his throne. Orunmila said, fine, I'll do it. He went on his way. The day came and all of the divinities assembled in the palace of Olodumare. They all faced Olodumare's throne, and there was all the treasures of the world were there. All the wealth of the world was there. All the abundance of the world was there. And Olodumare explained what the job was going to be and said, it's all for you. Take it as you see fit. And so all the deities rushed the throne and they took the treasure of the world. Some took diamonds, some took minerals, some took elaborate cloth. They took all of the wealth, everything, all the wealth that we know in the world today. The divinities gathered it up. Orunmila was watching and he was seeing how all of the treasures were being grabbed up. And the divine messenger was there. And he's playing his horn and he's telling Orunmila, in a coded language, Orunmila, be patient. Orunmila, just wait. Don't take any of the treasure. Orunmila, the only thing that you want is under Olodumare's throne. And so Orunmila waited patiently until all the treasures were gone. Finally, he approached Olodumare after everything was said and done. And he said, Kaviesi Baba, I only want one thing. There's something underneath your throne. That's the only thing that I want. Olodumare was impressed. He got up off the throne and he pulled out a snail shell. It's an African snail, right? So it's about so big, and it's it's a special shell. It's got something in it. He says, "Okay, Orunmila, this is yours." He gives Orunmila the shell, and Orunmila then goes along his way. Okay, Ifa says, the power to possess an already produced thing is different, even inferior to the power to actually generate a thing. The power to possess something is different from the power, it's inferior to the power to create something. This is a learning principle. The reason why you should restrict your children's use of computers, the reason why you should not allow your children to have all just coloring books where all the pictures are there and you just color in, is so that you invoke in your child, or you sustain, you don't have to invoke it, they got it. You sustain your child's natural inclination to create. Let your child be a creator. The heads are all crooked, the eyes are all over here and over there, that's fine. Let your child be comfortable as a creator and let them take pride in saying, I made that. That is of my hand. I sang that song. I played that music. I sewed that. I am a creator. Okay? This is consistent with why your ori is so important. Your ori is a chooser. You need to be comfortable with choosing. Some of your choices are going to be better than others. That's okay. The only way you learn to choose better is by making bad choices. You got to make bad choices to make good choices. And everybody is garbage in the beginning. Everything what you start doing in the beginning, you're garbage. You could be garbage for a long time, depending on what you want to do. Depending on the complexity of the thing that you're trying to master, you could be bad for a long time. You got to be okay with that, though. And you got to teach your child to be okay with that. You learn it. It's okay. You learn it. That's good. Keep trying. I love it. I'm proud of you. Keep trying. That ain't what we're looking for yet, but just keep trying. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. But it begins with you. You got to be comfortable doing it badly. So when I ask you to give me your transcription of the Oriki, I expect your transcription to be terrible. When I see what you wrote with the Ijuba and I see it and I just be like, this is hurting my eyes, boy. What in the world? What? What in the, how did you hear that? But it's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be awful. As adults, we don't want it to be awful. We want it to be perfect the first time. We want to master it in the first couple of rounds. You're not going to master it like that, okay? Be okay with being, you know what I'm saying? Just, it's okay. It's totally okay. It's expected. What I want to see is you try again and 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 again. I want to see you try again and again and again and again and again. If you can fall 1,000 times, I'm going to love it even more. I'm going to have much more trust in you. I'm going to have a lot more confidence in you because I know that I can put somebody else underneath you. And you're going to say, it's all right. It's all right. No, it's all right. It's all right. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. But the thing that's already, it's already packaged and perfect, you don't know how it was made. So you got to be comfortable, right? So where all the other deities took something that was packaged, it was made, it was a treasure whose value was already known. Orunmila chose something that was ordinary, nondescript, and apparently not valuable. Just a snail shell packed with something. That's an important lesson for you, okay? Ogbeyono teaches us the same lesson, right? Ogbeyono teaches us the exact same lesson. The importance of, wait a minute, I could choose that Ordi, that big Ordi, I could pick that one. The elaborate, well-decorated Ordi, I could pick that one. But that's not the one, though. The one that I want is in the back room. It's going to require more patience. It's not the one that they're putting up out front. The one that they're looking for is in the back. Ifa is letting you know that the thing that's up front, the visible thing, that ain't the one. You want to be patient to get to the root of the matter. Don't fall into the trap of false scarcity, that because everyone else is in a hurry and they're clamoring for the things that are already produced, that doesn't mean that you need to accelerate your process. Take your time, be patient. So Orunmila he's patient. He picked this ordinary looking snail shell. All the deities took off. This is very, very similar to Ogbeyonu. The deities took off. They went into the world. So they thought. Orunmila came from behind. He was surprised that as he was making his way down the road on the way to Earth, there was all the 400 Irumale all gathered together. He said, what's the matter? What you guys doing? Why is everybody all huddled up here? They said, Orunmila, we can't go any further. This is the end of the road from heaven to earth. After this is just expanse of water. There's nowhere to go. Orunmila said, no problem. Let me get up here in the front. And so Orunmila went to the front. He pulled out his snail shell, and from his snail shell, he pulled out a net, and he threw this net out onto the water. And then he turned the snail shell over, and out of the snail shell poured soil. And he let that soil pile up into a little heap. And then Orunmila pulled out a five-toed chicken, or a five-toed rooster, a five-toed fowl. He put it onto the soil, and the fowl started to, as chickens do, they scratch the ground looking for worms and stuff. They scratched it to the north, they scratched it to the south, they scratched to the east, it scratched to the west, and the soil began to spread and expand. And when Orunmila saw that it was spreading, but it was spreading too slowly, he started to recite an incantation that said, spread and expand. Spread and expand. And so the land spread and expanded. It became Ile-Ife. Ile-Ife, the land that expands. That is the umbilical cord of Yoruba civilization. All Yoruba kings, all Yoruba kingdoms, all Yoruba royalty, all Yoruba people come from Ile-Ife. All. No kingdom is independent of Ife. And this is why. This is where the deities came, was Ile-Ife. Now, Orunmila stepped out onto the land that had expanded, and the deities were going to come behind him. But Orunmila said, wait, there's a toll, there's a tax. You're going to give me all of your wealth. In order to come onto the earth, you got to give me all of the wealth that you collected in heaven. And then I will give you back a portion according to what it is your assignment will be in the world. Orunmila gave all the Orishas allowances. And this is how Orunmila became a broker of all the treasures of the world. Ifa says that if you begin with the end in mind, then you can position yourself in such a way that you collect. You get to name your price. Right? This is a design equation. If you're the architect and the designer of a system, and you understand the structures, the orders, and the patterns of that system, you position yourself in such a way that all of the wealth of that system will flow through you. and you collect, and then you distribute, because you alone know how all of the energy, the information, the movement will flow. Without you, it can't go from one point to the next. So you get to charge. You get to name your price. Okay. Still, the Irumale are the ones who brought the jobs. They brought the wealth to the world. But Orumila was the one who got paid. Okay. Ifa is asking you to think about how you need to position yourself as a creator, as a generator, as an architect, as a designer. That you are not going to have to do all the work. You need to do the pivotal work. You need to do the work that will enable you to take advantage of or capitalize upon all of the work that must be done. But it requires you to organize the work. Okay? You've got to organize the work. And so OkanranOgunda says that you will be able to be blessed by the multitudes and bless the multitudes according to the intelligence of your plan, because none of the other divinities had a plan. They just acquired. It was Orunmila who had the plan. So it's important that you are planning and organizing and structuring, and that's how you're going to be able to also give blessings. Because if you understand that they didn't have the plan, but Orunmila did, then you can also project into the future that going forward, as they created more and more and more, Orunmila was the one who understood how to plan their work for them, which is the role that Orunmila plays in the pantheon. Ogun can do certain things, Shango can do certain things, Obatala, Oya, etc. They can all do certain things. But it's Orunmila who shows them the blueprint. Oh, Ogun, with these skills and these resources, you can become this. You can do this. Oh, Ashun, you can do this and this and this. Oh, if you put these together like this, you can make this. You can show up over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. You have this ability and that ability, and this is the environment. If you put these together like so, you can show up like that. It's Orunmila who organizes their work for them. Orunmila is their spokesperson. That's why we say Orunmila sits and talks. He's the organizer, the one who lays out the blueprints and the structures for how to make recipes. Orunmila is like the conductor of a symphony. Can Orunmila play the tuba? I don't know. We've never seen it. Can Orunmila play the kettle drum? I don't know. We've never seen it. The flute? We don't know. Violin, cello? We don't know. But he knows you know what I'm saying? He can do all this though. Orunmila knows that part. And that's what makes the symphony beautiful. He tells everyone what to play. He knows. You understand what I'm saying? That's the role that Orunmila plays. So, in that regard, you need to position yourself in your life according to your capacity to play that role. Where do you organize? Where do you lead? Where do you structure? Where do you understand what I'm saying? Where do you plan? Where are you the mastermind? Where are you the mastermind? That's where you need to position yourself. Okay? That's the goal. Where do you position yourself in such a way that you can benefit from all the efforts of the people and the resources around you? Where is it that you need to delay your gratification and your pursuit of the outcomes to be able to reap the benefits at the end. And then not only at the end, but to reap the benefits continuously. Delayed gratification. You don't get it today in the beginning. You don't get the benefit of having the finished product, but you do get the benefit of profiting from what that product can do. Okay, so let's pause there and let's get some insights from each of you, or all of you who have an insight. What does this message mean to you? What is Ifa saying to you? And what questions do you have?